Thank you so much, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. I have to thank Bill, Annette, Cammie, and team for bringing me to you, even though I'm a half a world away in South Africa, where I have to say it's a little nicer at 85 degrees than it probably is there in Cleveland. But you know it would take an ocean to keep me away from you on a day like today when I feel like there's so much great stuff happening, so much positive momentum. And it kills me that I'm not there with you, but thankfully to the team that I'm able to be here with you for just a few minutes. As I am halfway around the world and here in South Africa, it made me think of a story that many of you probably heard about last year. On August 31st in Havana, Cuba, a long-distance swimmer by the name of Nyad jumped off a rock wall into the ocean to begin a 110-mile journey to become the first person to swim unaided between Cuba and Key West, Florida. 52 hours, 54 minutes, and 18 seconds later, Diana reached a Key West beach and became the first person to swim one of the most treacherous 110 miles in the entire world. It's considered the most treacherous not because of the currents, which are unpredictable and swift, but because it's home to two of the most dangerous predators to humans in the entire ocean. Sharks, which we've all learned our lesson from Jaws now, haven't we? And the box jellyfish. Now let's put this journey into perspective for just a second. First, let's talk about the distance. Diana swam the equivalent of the distance from Cleveland to Toledo. It's the same distance as it is from Denver to Cheyenne, Wyoming, or from Seattle to Ellensburg, Washington. Now, let's just think about that. How many of us would even attempt to walk that far, much less swim that far? And she did it in waves up to 15 feet. Now let's put the time it took her into perspective. 53 hours. That's 2 days plus 5 hours, 2 days and change. And did I mention that Diana had tried and failed 4 times before this attempt? Her first attempt was over 31 years ago. And did I mention that Diana Nyad is 64 years old? Quite an accomplishment. So what the heck does this have to do with banking, with KeyBank? Well, let's look for a moment about exactly how she did this, how she accomplished what no other human had accomplished before. First, she built an extraordinary team of professionals all around her that she literally had to trust with her life. Secondly, she asked the best and most demanding coaches in the world to provide her with relentless feedback on her strategy, her diet, her nutrition, her stroke, her breathing. She had a relentless focus on the end result, which was to become that first swimmer, male or female, to successfully make this journey. And she wouldn't allow previous failure to stop her in this attempt, and clearly not in the previous 4. And most importantly, she trained and practiced every day, no matter what, to create that muscle memory and the stamina she would need to not just attempt this fantastical journey, but to actually succeed at it. And on September 2nd, 2013, she did just that. She successfully became the first person to swim unaided the 110 miles from Havana to Key West, Florida. Now, Diana's success wasn't just a physical accomplishment. It was the psychological and psychic accomplishment for her and so many other athletes who aspired to do that which hasn't been done before, which was just as important as the physical part of this. Diana's achievement changed hearts and minds with the very act of a 64-year-old woman attempting anything even remotely close to this type of endeavor. She was under 30 the first time she tried it. And she couldn't do it then. What would make her think at 64 she could do it now? I can't even swim to the end of my bathtub without getting winded, for Pete's sake. Diana showed her leadership by changing the very discipline of swimming and the perception of what can be accomplished despite age and all the other factors that were against her. So again, why are we talking about a long-distance swimmer? It's because she's the perfect analogy for where we are in our journey as leaders at KeyBank. She's the perfect analogy as to what KeyBank is now capable of, thanks to all of the hard work and practice that all of you have put in over these last few years. I mean, think about it. Just like Diana, We know exactly what our goals are, right, Bill? We know exactly what they are. You heard all about them this morning. We have the right team in place, and we have the courageous conversation skills to ensure that we do have the right team in place. And our end result is success in our revenue goals with our always keen focus on the client. Now, as an outsider, I have witnessed this evolution myself. When I first started speaking with Key in 2009, think about this for a second. Your stock price was under $5, and now it's almost $14. When I met you, you barely had a sales process, and now you have playbooks that the entire organization are utilizing to keep our swimming strokes aligned so we can more quickly cut through the waves and the sharks. When I first started with you, I interviewed a cross-section of the people in this very room. Well, not this room, but the room that you guys are in, that room over there. I interviewed a cross-section of leaders who couldn't specifically state what leadership skills they had, much less the ones they needed, much less the ones their teams needed. And yet today, all 275 of you in this room all have seen the power of aligning your leadership skills and working every day to get better with them by enabling, inspiring, engaging, and rewarding your employees. Everyone in this room is a testament to the idea that with a relentless focus on the goal and a willingness to build your own skills, you can improve not only your own performance, but the performance of all those around you. And it's that work, that focus on your skills as leaders that has helped propel us to this place, right here, right now, where it's up to all of you to create the end result we need. Now, in Diana's case, her previous attempts to swim the channel between Cuba and Key West were halted because of, everyday things like giant box jellyfish trying to kill her and swarms of sharks trying to attack her and electrical storms that were striking the water with voltage that none of her team could have survived had they let it get any closer, and 20-foot swells that she simply couldn't swim through. Now, the challenges that we face probably aren't quite that dramatic. Fortunately for us, if you have a bad call or you've had a bad day, you don't die usually from it, like was the case in Diana's story. But so many things that we have to struggle against are completely out of our control as well. Regulatory changes, economic changes, unforeseen competitive issues. And like Diana, we are in charge of what choices we make and how we decide to lead. Like Diana, we're in charge of making choices when we have to have a courageous conversation with a peer, with a client, with a teammate, with a team member. Just like Diana, it's those choices that separate us from the people who aren't going to win. It's interesting to me because when Diana is asked about the biggest challenge, the most difficult part of her training, she doesn't answer the physical stuff. She doesn't answer that it's hard to go out and swim 20 miles on a morning and then go back out and swim another 40 if she's not feeling well. She doesn't talk about how difficult it is at 64 years of age to get up and train as hard as she does every single day. Invariably, she answers that it's the mental game she has to play with herself to keep her body moving forward through the pain of each attempt, through the pain of each mile, and down to the pain of every stroke that she takes. I would argue that it's the same for us. I would argue that the mental game of finding new ways of building revenue within each of our territories is one of our challenges. The mental game of finding new ways to partner within our organization to better meet the needs of our client. The mental game of understanding that no matter how many times you've tried something with a peer, with a client, with an employee, that we're willing to try again to ensure we can succeed. And that's really what this meeting is about for all of you. We've created the best team. If you've been having those enabling conversations, which I know you have, we've created our strategy by way of our playbooks so that we can create the muscle memory around strong sales leadership. We've perfected our leadership skills from leading the key difference by practicing every single day, no matter what. And now, just like with Diana's team of world-class coaches, we need to be comfortable relentlessly coaching our people and our peers to better and better results. And that's why today, we're going to take some time to not only test, but build our skills from leading the key difference to a new level. Specifically the skill of courageous conversations. Applying courageous conversations to our ability to coach our employees and our peers to higher success in 3 specific areas. 1, setting quality appointments. 2, conducting the quality call. And 3, closing the quality sale. Now just think about this for a minute. Imagine if we could masterfully apply the steps of courageous conversations against just these 3 pieces of the sales cycle. Imagine what the impact of that could be for your team. If 100% of the people who report to you and 100% of your peers could create mastery at those 3 things, just imagine the impact on our revenue goals. Imagine if every single employee was masterful at this and could create those conversations not just with their employees, but also with their peers. How much more quickly we could swim through those rough waters. All it takes, as we learned in Leading the Key Difference, is a focus on our skills as leaders and our ability to create heroes in every role. So what the heck am I doing up here? Me, Cindy Solomon, talking about sales. I mean, I'm the client person, right? Now, that's the beautiful thing about where we are right now in this moment in your evolution as leaders and as an organization. It all comes right back to the client. If we get great at making quality appointments, the client wins because we're not wasting their time. We're not selling them on things they don't want. They're the right client at the right time with the right person with the right product. If we get great at conducting a quality appointment, again, the client wins. And if we get great at closing the quality appointment, well, we all win. There's not an individual, a small business, a big business, a private banker, an investor, or any other potential client you can think of that doesn't need a great banker right now. And that's what you all are and who you're managing. Whether you're a leader in the field or in any other department within Key, your job is to create bankers so our clients can win. Said another way, in the Leading the Key Difference way, if you create heroes in every role, you create bankers who can help our clients be heroes. Now, some of you may remember me telling a story about Rose a number of years ago, the blackjack dealer at the Bellagio in Las Vegas who parted my money and me over a 6-hour period of time. Well, I told that story because it was a great client relationship story. I had such fun. I bonded with Rose. Rose helped me get better at playing blackjack. The people at our table all got better at playing blackjack. We enjoyed being together. We had fun. But I wanted to tell the story again with a different context and in a different light today. The story about Rose, who was a great blackjack dealer, the first reason why she was a great blackjack dealer is because she taught me how to play the game better so that I could win. And if you think about it, that's what we're trying to help our clients do, is to play the game better and win. Just like a great blackjack dealer helps teach people how to play blackjack and win, a great leader teaches people how to be better leaders so they can win. And great salespeople teach people how to buy from us so that they can win. I believe through the use of courageous conversations, which is a skill that I hope you're already masterful at, against these 3 very specific areas of focus today will allow us to create bottom line revenue growth and create heroes. So now I'd like to turn it over to somebody from my team that I would trust my life to take you through the exercises that will help you practice, just like Diana Nyad did, the skills that will help you and your people achieve your goals. Please welcome to the stage Signe Haraday.